Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us in tonight's AMA live session. As you can see, we have a full crowd here on the screen. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but very happy to have all of you here. And most of you have heard about BAS, which is a sidechain solution to BNBChain team. So we'll be talking a lot more about that. But what's really exciting tonight or today, depending on where you are, is really we are talking about the first application that we know that's launching on the BAS sidechain on BNBChain. So I'm really looking forward to that. I forgot to introduce myself, I guess. My name is Alvin from the BNBChain team, of course, but I'm going to let the rest of the guests introduce themselves. So shall we start with you, Greg?
Sure. Hi, you guys. My name's Greg. I'm the CMO of Ankr. Ankr is one of the fastest growing infrastructure companies in the Web3 space. We help companies like Binance and other chains with their node infrastructure so that they can run fast and reliable, and that you as the end user can utilize the dApps and things on their system really fast and well. We've been pretty critical and a good partner for Binance and BNBChain on the launch of BAS, and so we're really excited to be here and tell you more about like the future of BAS and how we can support them and you. And then I'll pass it off to Stanley, who's our core contributor to the BAS chain.
Hello, guys. Yes, my name is Stanley. Thank you, Greg. My name is Stanley, CTO and co-founder of Ankr, Ankr.com. So 4 years ago, two of my co-founder and I established the company, and our goal is to provide a service in the infrastructure layer of the blockchain service. Right now, we have provided service like API service, RPC service, liquid staking. Now we expand to Binance application sidechain, and also gaming SDK. So personally, I have been on the Binance live show for a couple of times, and today I'm really happy to introduce the first Binance application sidechains gaming applications. Yes, I'm really happy to talk to you guys again. Yes, Taylor, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks, Stanley. Yeah, my name is Taylor, and I'm the business lead at Meta Apes and Mirage. And as Stanley mentioned, Meta Apes is the first gaming application on BAS. So very excited to be here today to introduce the game to everyone, and let's get started.
Cool, very cool. I'm personally super excited. I've been talking about BAS sidechains for the last 1 to 2 months. And, I think this will be the first time you're seeing a live, in action of how it actually applies to the user in terms of the experience they're going to go through. For those who are kind of new to the concept of BAS sidechains, maybe I can give a quick 1 minute rundown on what it is. So BNBChain has been, the biggest blockchain in terms of number of transactions and number of daily active users. I believe we have about 1.5 million daily active users. At the peak, we reached about 2.2 million. Right, which no other blockchains have ever come close to it. And, it's great. We can reach 2 million plus. There was a bit of congestion at the time, but we don't want to just incrementally increase the capacity of BNBChain to 3 or 4 million, right? We are talking about how do we bring in the next billion users onto BNBChain. And for that to happen, right, we knew that there has to be a fundamental shift in how we think about the whole architecture itself. So most of you are familiar with BSC, which is where, the mainnet where everything is on. But in order to invite large dApps, right, with, hundreds of thousands or even millions of users onto the chain, we felt that there was a need to actually introduce these sidechains. And these sidechains, there'll be 2 versions of it. The second one will be a ZK rock. But right now, what's happening now already on Testnet is proof of stake sidechains. What's great about this is, the TPS will be super high, 5,000 and above. The gas fees itself can be as low as how you want it. There's a lot of flexibility in, say, the validator sets, how many you want, who should be in it. The best thing I think most games actually feel is that you can have your own gas token. That is great, right? You don't have to rely on other tokens anymore. This introduces so much more utility to the tokens that you have, right? And apart from that, right, you have your own kind of your own blockchain at the side, but you're still in close proximity to BSC. Right, and therefore you can rely on all the DeFi apps, the marketplaces, the facilities, and the infra that's required, right, for your game to play. So all in all, very excited for this to happen. We are now in testnet phase. The mainnet will release at the end of the month. And so today, what you're seeing for the very first time in history, right, is actually BNBChain's Sidechain in action for the first game that's deployed on it. So Taylor, I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you. So why don't we start with a quick introduction of the game? So Meta Apes, is a free-to-play, play-to-earn MMO strategy game that's designed for mobile, and is currently actually available on Google Play. And like we mentioned earlier, it is the first game to launch on BAS, and so I think it's very obvious that we're all very excited about that. So a quick narrative of the game. So the game is set in a post-apocalyptic world in which humanity has ended and a new era ruled by apes has begun. And effectively, each player will have to work very closely with his or her gang, which is effectively your team, to become the strongest clan in this ape world and then win the ultimate race to space. And so the core features of the gameplay include one, building. And so you'll have to grow your city and troops by managing and producing resources, training your troops, and then conducting research. Two, competition. So you'll be fighting PvP battles as well as PvE battles and be participating in various challenges and mini games within the game. Community is a huge aspect of Meta Apes. So you'll be collaborating and strategizing with other players in your gang. And then lastly, exploration will be a critical part as well. So you're traveling around the map, and then you'll be discovering a bunch of stuff along the way. And so we really think that players and consumers are entitled to not only just greater transparency, ownership, and freedom, but also a genuinely fun gaming experience, and that with a narrative and a community. And so Meta Apes was born out of that idea and really aims to deliver all of those things. And as mentioned in the beginning, it's free to play, and so there's no upfront investment or NFT purchases required to start playing the game. And I think we can all agree that's what's great about Meta Apes. At the same time, there are in-game features and activities that are on the chain. So such as the NFT fighters and our dual token economy, so that you can actually truly own your assets, as a player. And so we'll be diving deeper into that a little bit later. So why are we building on BAS? I guess is a big question. Well, I think like Alvin said earlier, BAS is the next generation developer infrastructure that really allows devs to build large scale applications with much higher throughput and significantly reduced transaction fees, right? And that's critical for gaming applications in particular, where transaction volume is really high and quality and performance are critical to the success of the application, right? So in order for you to build a successful blockchain game, you really need a secure, scalable, and interoperable infrastructure and solution. And so with the partnership of BAS and everything that it offers, we think that Meta Apes can and will lead this next paradigm shift in blockchain gaming for a couple of reasons. So, first, most crypto games that we've seen to date have mostly been web-based, or they've dealt with some serious issues with network congestion and user experience, and or actually tend to lack the level of quality and narrative that's typically seen in traditional Web2 games. And I think another pattern that we've seen is most games have either decided to launch on the main networks of major blockchains like BSC, or they operate on chains that are dedicated specifically to gaming, or they just went ahead and just developed their own chain. And so I think while we think that all of these are, all these solutions are fair and they all continue to improve, they still have their own constraints and limitations that an application-focused chain like BAS addresses and solves. And so building on BAS, I think, just allows for, again, much greater customization for us, higher performance, greater scalability, and all of that with the sound architecture and security, of the Binance chain. And so, together with BAS, we really think that Meta Apes has what it takes to become the next, leading blockchain game that's focused on mobile and then really focused on user experience and quality, to the point where it's actually similar to what you'll see in Web2 games. And then also all of that with the added ability to truly own the assets as a player, right? And so with all of that in mind, let's take a closer look at the actual gameplay. So I'm going to start playing this video for you guys. All right, so we'll go ahead and actually start with the Web3 features first. So we're going to go to the NFT here, connect our wallet, connect. And there we go, successfully linked to our MetaMask. And so as you can see, I already have 4 NFT fighters, but why not? Let's go ahead and get another one from the blind box. We're going to click on buy. And because we're currently on testnet, we actually need some test tokens to claim the NFTs. I actually have plenty, but if you need some, then you can go to the faucet and just simply withdraw some like this. So then let's go back to the blind box. We'll click learn more. And then you'll see the list of NFT fighters that you can potentially get from this particular blind box. I think there should be 10 of them. And then we're going to go up and just click on mint a random NFT and then draw. Just confirm the transaction. We can give this a second to process. And then there we go, successful draw. And so before going back into the game to check the NFT, I also want to show you that you can get an NFT from the market. Early days, as you can see, but if this is where you can, another place you can buy your NFTs and of course sell your NFTs as well. So then let's head back into the game and we'll see that a 5th NFT fighter has successfully been added. Actually, the most important thing about the NFT fighters in Meta Apes is that they generate shell, which is the in-game utility token. And currently my fighters are generating 300 shell every hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and claim the 4 shells that I've accrued. And you'll see that my shell balance has gone up from 1263 to 1267. And then we can tokenize the shell to truly make it ours and effectively, transfer them into our wallet. So let's go ahead and tokenize 50 of them. Hit confirm. And great, transaction is successful and our tokenized shell balance has now increased to 270. And then, further, if I wanted to deposit my shell tokens back into the game to be able to use in the game, I can click on the shell button right there, go to the deposit section of the Meta Apes web. And then, why not? Let's deposit 50. And then you just hit confirm and confirm again. And upon a successful transaction, my tokenized shell balance should decrease by 50, right? Because we've moved it back into the game. And this should be reflected in my wallet and in the game as well. So let's take a look at that. So it's now gone down to 220, 220 here as well. And then if we head back into the game, you will see that update as well. So 270 to 220. So that about at a high level covers the Web3 and BAS interactions in the game. So now let's move over to the actual gameplay and I can give you a quick tour of the city. So like I mentioned earlier, the key objective is to continue upgrading and growing your city and troops. So the city hall right here is the main building of the entire city. It determines your building speed and power, so very important. The banana spectrometer in the center. This is what determines your food and iron production, which is necessary for building, training, healing, a lot of activities. And the training camps are here where you train your troops. So we're gonna go train some shooters. And then over here are the medical stations where you can heal your injured troops after battles. And then to the left-hand side, it shows a list of quests and challenges that you have to complete in order to move on to the next chapter. And then if we head down below to the fighter section, this is where you can see all of your fighters in one place. And so a couple things to note here. Your NFT fighters have special advantages and effects, including the special rainbow background that you see here versus the solid background of non-NFT fighters. And your NFT fighter will actually, more importantly, have additional skills and power. And so you can see that this skill, is greater by 68% compared to that of their non-NFT counterpart. And we can actually also take a look at how they look on the map. And so let's just go find some NPCs to fight. So we're gonna go around. I guess it's a peaceful day, not seeing many. Okay, there we go. Well, I don't think I'm strong enough to fight level 9s yet, so we're gonna fight these guys. But you can see that because it's an NFT fighter, there is a special kind of orange ring and lighting around the fighter, and also this displays a user ID. So coming back into the game, your gang is a team that you'll collaborate with on a day-to-day basis. Items, this is your repository of everything that you own in the game, including speed-ups, which are very important. So challenge, this is where you can find various mini games and challenges that you can either simply enjoy or will have to complete in order to progress through the game. And so, and then let's take a look at the map actually now. So we can, you can see where everyone is located. And if you zoom out further, you can see the map of the overall game. And at the center is the launch pad, which is where everyone, is basically trying to get to in order to win the game. And that about actually wraps up the demo of the MetaApes gameplay. The last thing that we did want to show you is how to get liquidity for the native token, as it could be unlikely, to have liquidity purely on its own application chain. And so what we'll do is use the Celer bridge to BSC testnet, where, most of the assets and liquidity will live later. And so before actually bridging my tokens, we can see in my wallet that I currently have 59.9 shell tokens on the BSC testnet right there. And then so let's go back to the bridge, and then we will actually have to switch back to BAS. So switch network. Give it a second. Okay. And then we're gonna bridge 10 shell tokens to BSC testnet, which is our destination chain, confirm transfer. Confirm again, and then you'll get a notification, saying that the transfer was submitted. And then, we can give this a minute, but, you can already see that my shell balance on the BAS chain has gone from 220 to 210 because I've sent 10. And so next thing we'll do is basically check this in our wallet. So go to our wallet, and you'll be able to see that, 10 of my shell tokens have now been transferred from BAS to BSC testnet. And so now let's show you how to bridge some NFTs. So we'll first have to switch back to the BAS chain. Lots of switching back and forth here. And then you'll just simply, choose the NFT that you'd like to transfer. So let's go with the first one, double check your destination chain. And then just like we did earlier, just simply click bridge your NFT. And then, this will also take a minute or two, and it'll say pending up at the top of the bridge until it's completely finalized. But what we can do in the meantime, though, is in a bit, we can go to the transaction, into the transaction history and view the transaction details. So we'll just give this a moment to run. So when you click on pending, we can see that it's on its way to the destination chain. And actually, I think, why don't we just go ahead and click on the link right there to see the transaction details, like mentioned earlier. And when you click on my wallet address, this is how you can see that it was a successful transaction. So you can see that I now have 4 NFTs, whereas I started out with 5 at the start of this. So that it was, and now the status has been updated to waiting for NFT minting. And yeah, this just takes a second, but this is huge that you can transfer your NFTs across different chains. And so I think it should actually be done in a second. And so yeah, there you have it. It's been completed successfully. And I think, of course, there is much more to come for the game, as well as all the different kind of technology, like tech aspects and the solutions. But I think with that, we pretty much covered everything that you need to know about MetaApes, at least in this moment. So thanks for listening.
That's awesome. Like I don't know why I'm surprised, and but I still am when you look at the whole like flow of how smooth it is. I think in just that few minutes, right, you demonstrated so many things. At first, it's just the experience. Everything is on mobile. I mean, I've played other blockchain games, and sometimes I have to switch between like the mobile web or even going on the desktop just to do some of the transactions before coming to the game. But you did everything in the mobile app itself. It's pretty brilliant. And then you demonstrated like connecting wallet, deposit, withdrawals, bridging of tokens and NFTs. We saw the Explorer as well, which is great. NFT minting, like all those were done in very, very fast amount of time. So really great to see that. Greg, is there anything you want to add on to it?
I agree. I mean, coming from being in crypto for the last couple of years and seeing how games run, like this is once this launches, this is going to be one of the most streamlined, like best games probably developed so far in our space. And one of the reasons why we were so excited about getting involved with BAS and the idea of doing like sidechains with you guys is because like the speed and the how fast you can run things. Like if anyone's ever used MetaMask on Ethereum before, like you can't do any of this. Like this, so many parts of this app would just fail and not even come close to working. And so it's really amazing, like giving every game its own chain like this. When we first heard about Meta Apes and when we first met Taylor and like saw what they wanted to do, like we thought it would be such an exciting project for BAS, like, knowing it was coming up. But we could have only imagined that they would build it out so great and so nice. And so it's really amazing just to see it like, almost in its launch state, like ready for the users. I think it could be one of the first huge blockbuster games, which is basically, the whole dream of BAS is that we can launch a bunch of things like this into the space. And from the Ankr side, we can provide all the infrastructure support so it doesn't bog down and just stop like all the other games have in the past, which was the dream of like building their own sidechains for it. So super, super cool. Great job, Taylor. Great job on the game. Meta Apes looks amazing. I haven't seen anything come even close to it yet in our space.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, one thing I want to add on is this game is definitely have a lot of effort and support by the BAS and also Ankr side. So if you guys don't realize, on Ankr side, we provide RPC, we provide the validator for the games, and also very important, we provide blockchain explorer, just like Taylor demos. All the explorers provide, all the source code is provided by and up and running, maintained by Ankr. And also we provide the faucet for testnet. And the last but not least, we have the staking UI as well. So all these things is open source, and for especially Ankr also provide the game SDK to provide the wallet interaction and interaction, token interaction. So all these efforts together with the BAS can help this game, be developed very soon and deliver very, very fast to the community. We begin this development around 1 or 2 months ago, start to change this game to be able to tokenize and be able to blockchainify. So 2 months, it sounds like a lot of time, but you guys can see the quality of the game, the graphic design, and also the game design. So 2 months to achieve that fast, I will say it's really, really amazing, and definitely can reflect a lot of product development and also collaborations between Ankr, BAS, and also the game company.
Great, it's great to hear. And for those that don't know, Ankr is one of the two providers that provides the BAS service. And what it means is that you don't have to build the chain yourself, right? A lot of these services are done very, very seamlessly for you. Stanley, I think you touched on a really great point, right? You mentioned that all these things were already built in, whether it's the bridge, the staking UI, the explorers. Look, I'm not a dev. Educate me, right? If you were to do all these things on yourself, like how long would that take?
It will take really, really a while. Especially for the game developers, they are a game company. They are not the expert, or at least they don't have that expertise within the team, within their teams. There will be a lot of learning curve about what blockchain is and how to interact with blockchains. And once they have a blockchain, even they just have a fork of it. They have problem like how our users see the blockchain activity, like the blockchain explorer, or how they get testnet tokens and start to play the game, and how our developer get testnet tokens to move forward. All these problems, it has been solved already within the BAS ecosystems. Ankr provide a solutions. Maybe other community member can provide solutions, but at least at this moment, on Ankr side, we provide a whole suite of solutions from development and from the game SDK. So I was as with the help of this effort for the for the game company, they can start very fast. All they need to know is conceptually know what blockchain is, what's the basic concept or basic idea, how to design a game around the blockchain, and then the rest of them just use the service and start to integrate it with the game. I think that really can help facilitate the game community or game companies to join the blockchains very easily.
Great answer. All right, so I see questions streaming in, and we're probably going to start an FAQ. So I'm just going to read out a few. The first one is easy. I can answer that. What does BAS stand for? Like, is it specific blockchain related? So BAS stands for the BSC application sidechain. So these are basically sidechains that run. You can almost say like run alongside BSC, which you're very familiar with. And what it means is that it is a sidechain where you can have very specific applications that scale to a large number of users, right? And yet maintain that proximity so that you can breach assets in between like BAS, your own sidechain, and BSC, and also continue to kind of leverage the benefits you get from the large ecosystem of BSC itself. So that is BAS, and it's meant for large-scale applications like the one that you're seeing on the screen right here. The next question related to this, what kind of advantages will we use or see in what kind of applications? So any of you want to take that?
Okay, I can say that. I can answer that. So the advantage to use BAS, right? So I was just at the beginning of this demos or presentation, Taylor already mentions Alvin has already answered. So basically, if everything run on the Binance Smart Chains, the capacity is not enough, and also there might be gas war. Using BAS, first of all, it can isolate its own capacity, and you can enjoy as gaming developers, game companies, they can enjoy the whole capacity of BAS. That's quite a lot, and also all the capacity can be isolated from the BAS. So that means it will be pretty safe, since both chain won't interfere to each other. And also, if you use BAS, the gas fee is on your own, and which means it can be very low gas fee. I mean, if we think about the crazy idea, you can design as a BAS developer, you can design the BAS that to almost have the zero gas fees or zero transaction cost for certain the activity within the game, but that requires some domain knowledge, but it's capable that you can do that. And also you are very much have the flexibility within the BAS, because all the source code is open source. I will say it probably you won't be able to modify the system contract of Binance Smart Chains, but if you have your own chains, and you can add your specific logic into your smart contract, into your system smart contract. For example, how you do staking, right? How you put your logic, like if you want to say eventually there will be a team players against each other. If it's possible, the winner can take certain validators and join the reward of that. It's all possible with BAS. Of course, as I mentioned, it requires some special logic into the system contract, but that brings the door to all the application developers. It's all possible, and also Ankr, since Ankr on the chain side, Ankr is the major contributor. So Ankr side, we are very happy to help all the developers, all the companies. If they have special need, they can come to Ankr, and then we can work with them.
Cool. Greg?
Yeah. What we saw last year when all the chains started exploding with traffic, when DeFi was really happening on BSC and really like our BNBChain like really launching last year, and games were at the same time. We saw this game Crypto Blades come about, and Crypto Blades got a lot of excitement. It was like really pumped, a lot of users started coming on, and it kind of took over the chain. And so whenever you have one of these big games, whether it's an Axie or Krabata or Crypto Blades coming, they can come and just out of nowhere just destroy all the traffic and congest the chain. And so that was kind of like the eye-opening moment for us at Ankr, because we were trying to support you guys and run most of your infra, and even we couldn't keep up with that traffic out of nowhere, those huge spikes. And so that's kind of where the start of the formations of like another scalability solution came. And so now that there's BAS and the solutions that have been made around this to support like new games such as Meta Apes, we don't expect there to be, these same problems. Like a game should never congest your chain anymore. Games being the largest transaction volume, thing that can happen on there out of nowhere, where people can have a massive spurt. And so it just opens up a new world of opportunities, not just for how Stanley was mentioning the different optionality of what can be built into the logic for the end users and for the game maker of the chain, but also, from the Binance side, you guys should be able to have a lot more options. Also, our BNBChain side, you guys will have a lot more options and what you can do on the chain now and not have to worry. And so it just kind of opens up a lot of new opportunities for like all the players involved. Also on the Ankr side, on the infrastructure, we get to do a lot more cool infrastructure things, which we love, which we're excited about.
Absolutely. And I always say, like, it's not just good for the game, right, that's building on the sidechain. It's also good for the other apps that are built on the main chain on BSC, right? Because they won't have, any large dApps will be on a sidechain itself. So there is no kind of like, no app is at the mercy of another big app, right, that's going to congest the network. So this is great. Look, some of the users are asking, right? So as a user, as a gamer, so what is required of us, right, to play a game on BAS, right? Is it like different? Like, do we need to set up some stuff? Like, or is it kind of the same experience that you get with any other games?
I can jump in. I mean, I think it should be just the same. Like for Meta Apes, for example, right? You really just need a wallet and you need a mobile device to be able to play. And so I think from a user perspective, it shouldn't be hugely different. In fact, like due to all the advantages that I think we talked about many times at this point, it should be a much better user experience from an experience perspective, right? But I don't know, Stanley, you look like you had something to add there.
Yeah. So that probably is a suggestion for the game developer. Actually, Binance applications are so BAS is the game is built on BAS, but as the player, from the player point of view, you do not require to have a wallet. You do not require to have blockchain knowledge to play with the game. So that means you can totally play it as a normal games until at a certain point you see the education sections, until you feel like, okay, the benefit to be to join BAS or have a wallet intact with the game is really something the user or player is interested in. Then they can start to play with the game with the wallet, and to install the wallet and to play with the game with the BAS features. So one thing is like one example is that you can have your in-game fighters to compete with other players within the game. That's all fine, and you can collect the resource and get familiar with the game at the very beginning. That's all fine. But gradually you will feel like, okay, if I have NFT, the fighter is much stronger than the regular fighters. And there should be educations and sections when we get mainnet launch. So user feel like, okay, this is something I'm really interested in. I should try. And it can be trading on certain, the NFT marketplace. Maybe I can make some money of it. Then they will start, download MetaMask, download the Trusted Wallet, and to draw the NFT fighters and trying to be much stronger within the game. I think that will be a natural experience as a player. I will never say, just design the game just because they want to be on the blockchain, and it will be too much for the players. for the game company, they should, to lower the interest barrier for the players, let them gradually familiar with the game, gradually familiar with the blockchain, gradually familiar with why I need to have a NFT, what's the benefit I can have with NFT. So I think that would be a recommended experience for the game.
Yeah, I would also add, so we've on the Ankr side, we've learned a lot through as Taylor's been building Meta Apes to the point where we've built our own gaming SDK for game designers to start building on. So if you go to ankr.com/gaming, you can get early access to our gaming SDK, which will give you all the features, a lot of the features I would say that Meta Apes has built in for seamless wallet connection, for launching your own NFT assets, for integrating into your Unity and Unreal SDKs, so that you can take any asset and make them into an NFT for launching new tokens. We're basically trying to make it super, super simple for game designers to launch from Web 2 to launch Web 3 games. And then we're working on a full package that will bring this all to BAS so that anyone will be able to launch like their own chain, their own game, right through like Web 2 Unity stuff right in their developer engine, and make it really, really simple. And the end goal, we're not here yet, and you can kind of see like I would say Meta Apes is an easier gaming experience than most games currently in Web 3. How simplified it goes, how fast it runs, how smooth it all integrates. Like you don't need to have a lot of Web 3 knowledge, but like you'll still, as you're trying to bridge things over, I'm sure some users will kind of be very confused and need to watch a bunch of videos on what's going on. But the end goal that we're working towards, and this is game one, remember, on BAS, right? So this is like very, very early days. But what we're hoping to get to is a place where users don't even know it's a Web3 game. They're just collecting these assets. They're earning these coins. They're able to interact and sell these things without any Web3 domain experience, without having to understand so much like about DEXs and switching wallets and all these things. And it's just very, very seamless. And so like that's the exciting like goalpost that we're moving towards, is a place where people just download and play games and start making money and don't really have to understand so much crypto background or knowledge at all, or watch any how-to videos. It just kind of works, and they're making money for playing to earn.
It's great to hear. And I think you touched on a point that I never thought of, which is you have an SDK that helps Web 2 games come into Web 3 and have their own blockchain. I think there are a few game SDKs out there, but one that actually helps you have it on your own chain. This is probably one of the first I've heard. That's cool. Let's switch gears a little and related to that point, right? There was a question about what are the benefits of a game having its own chain. Does any of you want to comment on that?
Yeah. I think the best, the great benefit is we have answered quite a while ago. Is still you have your isolated capacity. That's very important for the game, because you definitely want to scale up, have millions of users, but do not congest the network. That's benefit number one. Benefit number two, I was how you have capability to have your special logic within the game. That's all possible. And also, I think for the benefit number three, that really can give a new design patterns for the game publishers. So it's possible. It's not necessarily true, but it could be a good example that Blizzard, for example, can have its own sidechains BAS. Then each game will have its own token, or the Blizzard can have a series blockchains. Each game have its own BAS. Like Warcraft can have one, StarCraft has one. Then we can use bridge to bridge assets to each other and to Binance Smart Chain as well for the trading purpose. I mean, with the help of BAS, the game developers or game company have all this choice. That's very important to enable the choice as get the gaming company to design the blockchain service on its own or on its designed fashions. As far as for the tokens, for NFTs, because you have your own capacities, right now it's just your choice as the game developer, as game companies. You don't need to. This time you don't really need to worry. Do I have too much NFT? Do I have too many liquidity BAS or things like that? This is a really good benefit for the game developers or game companies. So definitely there will be learning curve as developers, but I think that's Ankr is good at that, and to lower interest barrier. especially we have an SDK. I think this is the major benefit for game company to have its own chains.
Right. And sorry, Greg, go ahead.
I would just also add, I do still think it's very early days for like this whole concept of like basically like you're running your own game, but you're running your own chain. And so the validator part of it and the gas fees of the validator part and choosing what your gas fees are and choosing what happens with that money, there's a whole new world of options that come when you run your own blockchain. Not in the features that you can build out and the validator parts that you can do. And it's still just very early days in like understanding what these product features will be that people are going to want to use and how they can be used in different ways. Like Stanley said this really interesting thing earlier that I've never even heard, which is like people that play the game can like, you know, can choose like if the winner gets a piece of the validator fees for those things. Like no one's ever done anything like that. Like that concept has never even been like thrown out there in the ether. I think like you can play this Meta Apes game and like there could be all these validator fees spun up like $100 or $200 in random fees from gas of all these people playing throughout the day. And then the one winner of the day can get those fees. Like there's just another world of like, you know, in crypto, you kind of like, you start somewhere and then like the whole industry evolves and kind of moves towards like this new thing. And so like, I think there's like a new world of product innovation that's going to come from having games have their own chains. And so like saying like, what does it add to have your own chain? It's very obvious that you don't clog up the main system, which is like the reason why we started it or started being a part of it. But like, there's a whole new world of innovation that will come in like years and months to come through this that I'm also equally as excited about.
Yeah, just think about like half years ago, how the game involved with the blockchain. Probably, you know, mint some tokens on Ethereum or BSC or Polygon, or have some NFT, and that's it, right? Entire game is still a Web2 games, and they just have some, you know, I was a very surface level of the blockchain. Then they become claim themselves to be a blockchain game. Right now, I think BAS definitely totally will change the space here. So all these logic can be gradually moved towards to deeper and deeper on the blockchain levels. To enjoy the validator fee is one of the examples. So because you can totally write that logic into the smart contract, the system smart contract, and everybody can see it. So that is not possible. I will say that it's not possible. You run on Ethereum, you run on Polygon. I mean Polygon or BSC. I mean Binance, for example, won't allow anyone change their system contract. It's not safe. However, for the game for the BAS, that's totally possible. Of course, that will bring a lot of security requirement. Bring a lot of the extra considerations, but that's how the industry get involved. You have new design pattern, you have new application patterns, and you have new requirement, and you will bring more users. People would like to have flexibilities. People would like to to have its own control for its own part, but that's very normal. That's how the industry involved. Just think about 2000, beginning of 2000, and to have the internet boom. I think that definitely it will be a good sign for the blockchain community to move forward with this kind of involvement. BAS definitely will be a big player, a big part of this evolution.
But what I'm hearing is a lot of flexibility, right, in terms of the tokenomics and how you let everyone participate in it, and that's big for me because I hugely believe in Web3, and that's because like people can actually be part of something bigger, right? You're not just like a consumer, you're not just a user, you're part of that whole ecosystem, right? You can almost say that you own it in some ways. And I think right now what you're saying is being part of that, being able to receive something from the validators, for example, being part of the blockchain itself. When you have your own blockchain, it opens up so much possibilities for users to actually own part of it,
yes,
right? Or to be a real part of it.
Yes, for the game company, they feel the ownership because they actually control the chain. They actually, it's possibility for them to develop their own logic of the chains. It's never live on any specific public chains. And also for the user, the assets is really living in their wallet. They control, they own the private keys. So they can have the sense or the feeling of ownership as well. It's never a piece of data in the games, in gaming companies' database. no matter how in Web2 world, no matter how fancy your characteristic are, no matter how fancy your equipment it's just piece of data in game company's database, right? If it get hacked, you lost everything. It's possibly you become day one. But for the BAS, if it's in your wallet, nobody can steal it. Of course, if you lost the private key, that will be the issue. But as long as you have your wallet, everything is in your wallet. You can have the feeling of ownership. You can trade it. You can send it to your friends as a gift. But that totally changed the feelings on both the gaming side, gaming company side, and also the user side.
But I think also having security, like access to the levels of security and the architecture that Binance provides, that's also huge too, right? Because it's not only that the flexibility and the customization that you get to have as a developer, but also knowing and having that comfort that this is it will be secure and it'll be scalable. And so I just want to make that point, just because I think that's also hugely, it's a big game changer for a lot of the developers out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, strongly echo that point. I mean, I speak to games all the time, and some of them have built their own private chains. 1-2 years ago, there weren't these options, and it's huge maintenance cost for them, right? In terms of DevOps maintenance, but also ensuring the security itself. You need to employ full teams, right, to make sure that nothing happens. So this is great to see.
Yeah, why not choose a chance as well established and as well secured audit? So just use this service that will be much flexible and secure for the industry. Yes.
Yeah. So curious to know, I'm not sure if you guys have thought this out, but in terms of the tokens itself, is the blockchain going to have a token that is different from the game token? How many tokens are there, right, with the blockchain and the game in total?
For the Meta Apes, right now we design two token systems at this moment. We have a reason for that. We have the first way as a shell token as the daily utility tokens, and also we have the banana tokens, which serve as the gas token, and also the governance tokens. The reason we do that is for the utility token or daily tokens, because people will involve with that on the daily activities. It's will have a huge demand, and a lot of people will have that tokens to do the daily operations. So that require, it's not a stable coin, but that require pretty stable values, and also the management or the maintenance, the goals are two different tokens. It's totally different. So at least for the shell, we provide large liquidity and provide ways to trade or bridge back to the BAS for that kind of purpose. For the banana tokens, that the main tokens the game company would like to have, the possibility is eventually list on Binance.com. For that tokens, the design is to make sure it have a great model, to have a great appreciations, and that appreciation shouldn't affect the daily activities of the game. So if you can think about if shell token become very expensive, then it's very expensive to play the games 2 months later than today's. That's not what we want. The shell token should have pretty stable values. However, banana token should get appreciated a lot, and the banana token should serve on some critical paths of the game. So for example, you become go to the next level of the fighters, you need to have banana token to for the next level up, or things like that. So that's basically is the whole design of the two token systems. It's not the only design I believe in the space, but at least at this moment it will fit into the SLG. I would say SLG, by the way, is the simulation game type Meta Apes fall into. For other kind of the game like card game or any other, it will be totally different the tokenomics design. As Ankr, we would like to help different game companies to have its own tokenomics. But for SLG, I think it's pretty good tokenomics, and I think that's pretty much it.
And just one thing I'll add, I think because our governance token will be the gas token, from a player's perspective, it's probably actually easier and provides for just a more kind of seamless user experience, since basically they can now use the same token for both things, right? And so that's just one thing that I wanted to add.
Cool. And I think having it as the same introduces a lot more flexibility that we talked about just now as well.
Exactly.
So that's great. Cool. So we have a BSC fan here, right, who likes to use PancakeSwap and some of the DEXs and marketplaces on BSC. And the question is like, so if this game is being played on BAS, right, where do I buy the tokens? Can I still use PancakeSwap? Anyone wants to take that?
Oh, definitely. Liquidity is very important for the token game, for the game tokens. So yes, since it's BAS, it's very natural to bridge back to BSC and have liquidity over there. I think at early days you probably not be able to list on Binance.com on day one. That's fine. You can use Pancake, you can use other DAX on BSC. For the trading purpose. I think that's the whole idea why we want to close the loop and have the bridge demo. That means if you are not be able to list somewhere to use a Pancake or DEX to have the trading at the very beginning, and even the NFT, there should be enough NFT marketplace on BSC. You can have liquidity over there.
Yep, cool. So, it's a native bridge. I think that's great. It just means a lot more easier, right, to switch assets between the two chains. So after this game, what's next? There was a question about what kind of genres of applications, right, would actually fit such a BAS, platform. Is it just games? Is it more?
No, it's not the limitation on the game only. Game is a good application. There are a lot of reasons. The first one is, game industry is a very profitable company, profitable industry. So there are a lot of game would like to, turn to, like blockchain space for economic reasons. However, on the technology point of view, there's no limitations on the game side or any application. I mean, if you are in social media, why not to have that on BAS? If you are, some kind of a software provider, why not on BAS? Since you have your own capacity, since you have your own low gas fees, it doesn't block anyone or doesn't block any application type to the BAS. If we talking about the technology limitations, one thing we want to mention is that, and still at this moment, this is limited by the proof of stake, like 200 transaction per second. That need to be, have the tech breakthrough maybe for next 1 or 2 years. Ankr is a part of it. We would like to design a very high performance, and maybe using layer 2 solutions, high performance, the blockchain for our own, for BAS as well. At that moment, we will say, okay, then we can have very flexible blockchains for higher throughput applications. I think that will be different stories. But generally speaking, I don't see the limitations of what kind of application can be run on BAS. Game will be the start, but it will be a good start. Yes.
Yeah, and in the way that we're thinking of designing this stuff, or like future designs for this, is basically BAS allows for any company to make their own layer 1 blockchain. There's a lot of heavy lifting that goes in making an L1, which is why there's so few, and why they're the most important things in the industry typically are the L1s. And so now with things like BAS, you don't have to do all that heavy lifting, and you can customize your own blockchain eventually is where it's going. So this is like ending one, like first ending, first app, right? Apes is first app, it's gaming. But what we're envisioning at Ankr as we start building in more product features for BAS and contributing in different ways is that like there will be a bunch of different features that can be used in DeFi, can be used in gaming, can be used in analytics that really are tailored for like if you were building this type of thing specifically for making like an L1 for analytics or an L1 for DeFi that can add unique product features for security, for onboarding, for KYCing, for different things. And so as we're like courting new people to join this like BAS ecosystem and hearing their needs, like we're getting like whole new product innovations that will start to kind of pan out as some of these new entrants come on board and start launching their own BAS chains with you guys. Because like we're basically helping them with the technology and building the infrastructure for them for support, which we love. We at Ankr, we've never built our own L1, but like this is like our version of like contributing to building an L1, which we're really excited about. And so I think there's a lot of different ways where this expands beyond gaming, but gaming is like that like low hanging fruit that like everyone understands because gaming wasn't going to make it for Web3 unless they have their own chains with the scale that they need to do. So it was like the initial product market fit. But we see a lot of stuff down the pipeline as we're having a lot of these like business development conversations.
Cool. Can't wait to see and hear what they are very soon. All right, we are very close to time, so why don't we kind of wrap it up just by going around the table and maybe just say like one thing you're really excited about, whether it's about BAS, whether it's about this game, whether it's about Ankr solutions. I'll leave it to you guys. We can start with Stanley, maybe.
Oh yeah, sure. As a wrap up, I think on Ankr side, we provide a one-stop shop for the BAS solutions. No matter it's hosting the validator, no matter it's you provide RPC service, even customize the blockchain solutions. We can all talk about it, and also including the blockchain explorer, including the faucet, including wallet, including staking experience and the UI. We already have all these solutions. The code is already there, and a lot of them is open source. So if anyone would like to build it, Ankr would like to help. But in general speaking, I think MetaApes and also a series of game, Ankr and also Binance, BAS or NodeReal would bring to the community will be a really, really awesome example to see how the multi-chain structure and to see how the chain as a service in this industry, in this space. I think it's a really, really good start, and we can really expect that the blockchain community can go to next levels in terms of the number of users, number of activities, number of applications. I'm very, very have a good feelings about blockchain because of BAS.
Cool.
I'll go. Yeah. So I think crypto comes in waves, and if we're in this industry, we're all like, you want to be in it for the next wave because that's when like the bull run happens and all that stuff. And you don't really know where the waves are going to come from. Like I remember when like the Axie wave started, the gaming wave started, like, I don't know what it is now, maybe a year ago, and then like everything in that whole sector just explodes and goes up like 5-10x out of nowhere, whether they're like even like functional or dysfunctional. And so from what I can tell, in my, like, I think that this blockchain as a service wave is the next wave. I think that like all these things that launched their L1s, and we're seeing this like across, the whole industry. It's not just like on Binance, but like a lot of the big games are moving towards doing this too. And so I do think that this is the next wave. Like I do think that like launching your own chain as a thing is going to be the next wave. It's not going to be, if you just have your own application on a chain as opposed to having like your whole own chain and your whole own feature set for you, it's going to be seen as different market verticals. And so we see this as like as BAS as being like one of those major new waves for the industry when that next wave happens. And so I'm always excited for things that like pump crypto and like make tokens go crazy and like get everyone all excited. And like obviously if it's on Binance, like Binance is Binance, it's amazing. So BNBChain applications hopefully get like some like fuzzy thing over there where like they're supported by the entire ecosystem over there. So I think that's exciting.
Yeah, and I can go. I mean, I'm very excited for the mainnet launch that's coming up in a few weeks. So I think the game looks, great already, and hope that everyone agrees with that. But I think we continue to refine the game, and it should look and feel even better in that upcoming version. And so very excited about that. Also excited for the continued partnership with BAS. And just want to say thank you for having us today.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And, definitely I can agree, like the experience was really smooth. The game looks great, by the way. And I'm personally really excited because I mean, there have been some like big applications that have come in, but I don't think we've seen any that are like 1 million over users, right, that have been brought in, right, into the blockchain world. But if you look at, say, the Web2 world, there's a lot of applications already with millions of users. So what this does is to set up the next wave, right? Like Greg said, it sets up the next wave of applications that's going to come in. And when you think about like the influencers, the celebrities going to bring their fans in, the big games that are out there with like tens of millions of players, they're going to get into blockchain as well. I think this sets them up really, really well, right, into the next billion users onto the blockchain world. So thank you to everyone who has been listening in. Thank you to our guests for giving us a lot of enlightening answers and insights into this world. So thank you, everyone. We will see you next time.